special. You have to hit. I was like,
You
you're
are-
special, but you need to make yourself special and hit the record button.
I made him special. I mean, your mother and your dad made. Now, let's not go down this road. Oh,
Thanks for
boy.
making me special, Jeff.
I made you
feel
special. I made
Uh-huh.
you special. Wow, that was good. I like it.
All right, here comes the screen share.
Okay, let's do this, please.
Yeah.
Please.
Now, can you actually, play? Yeah, there we go. It's a good start, but that's better. Really?
Welcome to
Oh.
Racers.
A show designed for the world of low-dollar racing.
An oddball car culture.
It doesn't matter what kind of Limit Champ or Lucky Track Dog League you run.
SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate.
As long as you drive it hard and build it yourself.
Join us each week for tech discussions.
Tips and tricks, as well as news and notes.
From the world of amateur endurance racing.
And whether it's on the spot, oh, sweet, we're lucky enough. And Chrissy.
Chris,
And I give you just the tip.
We're sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less.
Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy,
I'm El Jefe.
and we're struggle bus.
We're mentalists
Already.
today. Right.
Yes, we are.
Who'd have thought we'd be worse on the logistics of that mental? But,
It's all right.
that's fine.
We still have
well.
Jeff here.
Yeah, and we are Everyone Racers, and it is a Ferrari episode of our podcast. It's episode 288.
Oh,
See?
good. You
I'm
tried.
only slightly insulted by that.
That's okay. So the Ferrari GTO, aka the 288 GTO, was an exotic homologation of the Ferrari 308 GTB. Built from 84 until 87, it was designated GT for Gran Turismo and O for Omologata, which is homologated in Italian. You want a boppity boopity with our E1R bingo card? Link in the notes.
That was pretty
There
good.
you go.
That's pretty good, yeah. For those of you who are like going, oh, I wonder what that looks like. This basically looks like the Magnum one. The Magnum one was the 308. This was a little different.
This is the 308 with fender flares
Yeah,
and bigger things and turbos.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that the nose was a little different too, wasn't it? Because it
Yeah,
had
it says a
different.
splitter. See that
Yeah,
lower
yeah.
air dam thing there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it has all the race car-y stuff because it's
Yeah.
better and faster.
I actually think it kind of looks better.
Oh,
But yeah, it had a lower number. Right?
because I think it was technically a smaller engine to fit the homologation stuff, but it had the turbos and therefore it was a lot more power and one of those kind of crappy things.
It's a pretty one anyway.
It is. It's lovely. Would that would be lovely? Nope.
Sure. Yes.
Sure.
I'll take it. Give me one.
Sure.
Does anyone else?
Oh,
Wouldn't
I
kick it out of the
must.
garage.
Oh, I don't. Do I really have to take this one?
It's a lot of maintenance, though. You'd be terrified to drive it anywhere.
I mean, I would take it and I would park it in the garage and I would say, wow, look what we have. We'll show all our friends and I won't drive it.
Nope.
Nope.
Park in the living room.
It's
Yeah.
not big enough.
although-
Our living room's not big enough.
This is old enough that you could work on it.
It's still there's a bunch of things that were made by a
Absolute-
guy named Giuseppe, wearing a leather apron, who's mustaches older than I am.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. This is the hand-built error of, you're not going to be able to get anything off the shelf because everyone was different.
Yeah.
Like the fender gaps and everything are going to be terrible. The interior is going to be terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's pretty. Look at the front. Okay. Anyway.
Okay.
Who's working on stuff? You want me to go?
Yes,
Why
please.
don't you go?
Mine's easy. I will do my best not to sing Mamma Mia songs into
Oh,
me.
why not? Let's hear it.
Mamma Mia. Anyway, so my son was in the high school production of Mamma Mia. We talked about me moving the stage and things. So I saw 3 out of 4 performances in a 48-hour period. And the only reason I got off on one was because all of his friends were going. So
No tickets available.
No. Just we had months and months of hearing it in the living room, and he would get mad when Jen would sing along, and we're like, "Yeah, but we all know this song, dancing." So anyway, so we went to it, and he's a freshman, so he was in the back row, and his godfather came down, El Padrino, the real El Jefe from up North Jersey, came down to see him, and so yeah, he had a great time, and it was really great, and he was way in the back, and there was one point where I was like, are you in this number? Because I remember getting you that outfit, but I can't find you. Because there's
Oh.
like 50 kids on the stage at once. So yeah, that's it. That's what I did all dang weekend long.
That's a shame.
How'd your stage stuff look?
The stage was amazing.
It looked pretty awesome.
Yeah. If anybody wants to see what these look like, just go to the Facebook page, find me, my personal account. I'll friend anybody. I'm kind of friendless in Facebook. I'm kidding. But my wife posted and I posted some pretty good videos so you can see what's going on. But don't expect to see Josh because he's in the back. That's it.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, what are you guys working on? Chrissy, what do you next?
We went to a birthday party. So it was my sister's, yesterday was my sister's actual birthday, Jen, the middle one. And so we went to go to my parents' house. We hung out with them and had a nice party. That was on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we went to a concert. We went to Jersey. We went to
Who'd you see?
Wasn't
Muse.
Jersey.
We went to
Muse. Nice.
You said
it
we
wasn't.
didn't go to
Oh, it was
Jersey.
not Jersey. No, we
Wells
could.
Fargo.
Okay, you could see Jersey, whatever.
Still
Yes,
not Jersey.
it's close. So yes, no, we went to Wells Fargo. We went to see Muse. Had good seats. They did well. It was a good concert. Yeah.
Any openers or anything?
Evanescence.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
And
she
some
was pretty
kids
good.
from Japan.
They were pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen worse openers.
Oh,
So
much.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they were good. Evanescence was long. We were exhausted. We got home at midnight and I had to be at work at 6. So I had to be up super early. So it was a zombie kind of day. But that's okay. We had a good time. Chris, you went with me on those things, but you did a couple other things.
Yep, more aluminium welding. It's still frustrating.
How's that
Sometimes I
going?
produce a weld that looks great,
You're like, yeah.
and sometimes not so much. But I'm working at it. Things are
Okay.
moving
Keep working
along.
at it.
Smoked some meat. That was good.
Mhm.
Watched F1. Go Checo. The only time Mental has
Go
not bet on
Checo.
Checo for the win. For the whole year,
Damn it.
and Checo gets the win. Yep. So,
Yeah. Yeah. That was quali was interesting. That was more interesting than the race, I think. A couple good battles in the middle, but overall pretty much a snooze fest. It's just
Yeah.
meh.
Not as many crashes I expect from Jeddah, but oh well.
No.
I haven't checked my points. I think I had one safety car in my prediction.
Oh, we
Oh,
picked
good for
2
you.
because I was
Yeah.
wrong all over
Yeah,
the
Bill
place.
has overtaken me for the lead in our league. He is now first.
Mm.
I'm second.
I think I'm now
I think Jeff might be third.
I think so. I
Yep.
think I've moved down to 15th, I believe. So there's
Oh.
that. And
Oh.
I'm still trying,
You're
actually.
at last though.
There's 21 of us. So
You're like the Haas of our
That's terrible.
that's sad. Okay. There's another side.
So the oldest off-road race in the world is the Mino 400, and it was made famous by Hunter S. Thompson, mostly ignoring his assignment to cover the event when he wrote Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. This year, it was won by a Miata, because Miata is always the answer. Well, not exactly. I mean, the venerable off-road classic added a hoopty class this year in conjunction with a Gambler 500. Only racing for 100 of the 400 miles, but racing on the same course, the topped hoopty was an NB Miata built and raced by off-road veteran Emmy Hall. She tells the story of her Miata, named Buddy, Navigator James, and their triumph over their other oddballs, including a Mercedes 300 SD, a Nissan Hardbody, and a Subaru Justy, and a four-wheel drive limo. Article was written by Emmy, contains the phrase, quote, "I was still questioning my life choices as I donned my helmet and squeezed myself into the car." So that's our kind of story. And you can find the link in our notes.
I have to share this picture. Hold on a second. This is amazeballs. Sorry, audio audience, but holy cow, sign me up. This thing is amazing.
So
Sign
lifted
you up.
NB Miata
Yeah.
with a tire shoved in the roll bar with some sand ladders, no trunk, metal bumpers. Looks great.
Yeah.
I
No
don't know
front,
about-
no front bumper for better approach angles.
Yep, but lights.
Lights. Yeah.
Egress would be
Yeah.
a challenge from that. if
Sure,
something
yeah, they
over,
got
but
Window nets and everything on there.
yeah.
Holy, okay.
good for them.
Yeah. Normally Eric Rude give us lemon related updates, but he emailed us a great story that involves Sebring. the 12 Hours of Sebring, Bryce Ward's team, 57 Windward Racing Mercedes AMG GT, was featured, and they briefly talked about that 300ZX they ran for 5 years in Lemons. Eric continues to say that team/car were always one of the poster children for the car because it was invisible once the race started and beat the hell out of much faster cars with consistency, quick stops, clean driving. For my own curiosity, I just tossed their results into the spreadsheet for what they did with that car is staggering. No surprise, they won the 24 Hours of Daytona this year. So yeah, so they were in Sebring and they talked about them, but they also won Daytona a couple weeks ago. Eric points out that they won the 24 Hours of Autobahn race with the 40-second quickest lap, adding no one else ever comes close to that low of a fast lap ranking. They also racked up 4 wins in 6 races in 2014 and never cracked the top 10 in lap times. Eric sums it up with this: good Lemons drivers can probably race anywhere, but these guys were on another planet when they raced with us.
Wow.
That's
that is so cool. That's so interesting. Eric is the best. He always comes up with great stories that nobody would ever know
does.
about.
His data munching is
Right?
amazing.
And it's just when he just
Did
gets
you say
into it.
data munching.
Data munching. Yeah, you never did data munching?
No, I heard crunching, but not munching.
Oh,
but
okay. Yes, data
It's the
crunching.
same thing.
Munching is funnier.
Everyone knows the old jokes about NASCAR announcers. Like the drivers, they squeeze in as much sponsorship as they possibly can. It's seasoned with notorious folk wisdom phrases.
Boy, man, I'll tell you what, that O'Reilly's blue emo Chevrolet Camaro got a tank of Sunoco race fuel and is running like a hound dog at a supper time.
But for this weekend's NASCAR race at Circuit of Americas, it's going to be a little different. Hat tip off to our buddy Nick DeGroot at motorsports.com gets us the latest. Not only will the race feature the 2009 F1 world champion Jenson Button making his NASCAR debut in the number 15 Rick Ware Racing Ford Mustang.
You got to say it like number 15, Rick Ware Racing Mustang, Ford Mustang.
You should have read this story.
Oh,
There's also another F1 alumni, specifically 2007 world champion Kimi Räikkönen in the number 91 named number 1 track racing car
Trackhouse Racing Chevy Camaro
for a second NASCAR Cup start. But it's not over yet because there's the commentators booth, F1 grid favorite and Haas F1 team principal Guten Steiner.
I'm so excited for this.
I know. Gunter will join Kurt Busch and NASCAR on Fox standard broadcaster Mike Joy. This might be one worth putting on in the background. Sounds fun.
I don't know if you saw, but in the Xfinity Cup this weekend, This is a pretty good moment. There was a small, in Xfinity is the lower level, so not the big money guys, the smaller money guys. And they had a crash and these guys came in. Some guy got his car all duct taped back together or whatever. And I apologize for not having this story at my fingertips and tell you what the name is. But he immediately went out, the flag went green, and a piece of his car fell off, hit somebody else, and caused another yellow flag. So they black flagged the guy and they said, you need to come in and you need to park because you caused a yellow because you didn't put your car back together. So he parked it on the start finish line, gave a peace sign, and walked back to his paddock. Anyway, that's what's going on. NASCAR world's a crazy place, but we are going to be talking about trailer breaks this weekend. And if you're like, well, Jeff, it doesn't really matter because I don't have a trailer or trailer breaks. Well, let me tell you, you need a trailer. And do you know where the best place to shop for one is? Well, of course, we're going to say racingjunk.com.
Duh.
Oh, duh. As of press time, Racing Junk has over 1,100 car trailer listings. That's crazy. Does somebody want to share these pictures while I read about them? From this,
Sure. It's got to
so there's
pull this up there.
Okay. There's a really great price on an aluminum floor dual open axle Norcross in Norcross, Georgia for $3,200. This thing is amazing. If I had an open trailer, this is what I'd be looking for.
You disabled screen sharing, so I can't.
Oh, sorry. I can
But-
enable screen sharing for
Great.
later anyway. But anyway, it's a fantastic. Great, you should be able to do it now. Fantastic open deck trailer. Gorgeous.
I agree. This is a great price on this.
Yeah, that is a top of the line aluminum. Whew, sign me up.
Well, I think it's aluminum deck, but steel tubing.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, there it
That's what it
goes.
is.
Yep. Trailer is built
But
out
still.
of eighth wall, 3.5 rectangular EWR tubing. Yeah, there you go.
Yep, but torsion axles. That's good. Yeah, it's a nice trailer.
Yeah. I saw one of these in Facebook Marketplace that was on sale for $900. And I was like, click that person. Oh, look, that same exact person on Facebook is selling the same exact trailer in every city in America. Mark is scam.
Yep.
Yeah, you're not a real person, dude. But to talk to real people and buy their trailers, check out racingjunk.com. They also have this brand new custom stacker that is nicer and bigger than my first college apartment. I mean, that's a pretty low bar, to be honest with you. I was up there on Hill Road in Reading in the first place, and
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, it's
Not-
also going for sale for more than our houses.
Yeah, it costs more than
you
a
know.
house, really. But yeah, you know, what are you gonna do? Look at that. Ooh,
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
this
mean-
is like the stuff we saw at PRI.
Yeah.
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 Hey, it's enormous. It's
Like,
stacker.
you could
It's
I could
6
live-
wheels.
I could live in it instead of living in my house.
Yeah.
Though it doesn't have
What?
much in the way of living quarters.
No, I
frankly.
know, but I mean, like, I can't afford anything else. I'm just going to live in this
Oh
trailer.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Instead of
Well, and-
tools, it's going to have my clothes in it.
What's the price on that one, Chris?
$349,000.
Eeh,
Sure.
that's a little crazy.
And that's even more than
Um,
our house. So there's that.
Yes. Yeah, more than my house too. But anyway, you know what isn't that expensive? Membership in racingjump.com when you use our discount code POD23. So using that POD23, you're going to get a half price membership, which is $25, up to 5 free ads, 50 photos. You get a dashboard, bigger thumbnails. You get to view classified ads before they go up for the common people. So you definitely want to do this. If you're thinking about buying or thinking about selling something on racingjunk.com, use that POD23.
So cool.
POD23, and you're going to be half off, and that's amazing.
Everyone likes
Amazing.
bargains. Come on.
I love bargains.
Yeah.
It's just like a coupon and you just get it. And you don't have to
save.
I love to save, and you don't even have to do anything to get the coupon. You don't have to search for it or anything.
And
It's
we've
awesome.
had, I think, 2 different listeners buy things off of our recommended list at this point.
So cool.
And they both said it was fantastic. So just get it now. Get your little membership now. It lasts for a year, and then the next time when we talk about something you really want, you can snag it.
That's
Yep.
awesome.
Upcoming races.
Okay, Lemons is at NOLA and it's Escape Velocity 10th anniversary race. 64 cars, 5 of them BMWs. These ratios are getting amazing.
That's
Uh,
good.
Right?
Yeah,
eight
great.
Miatas, including the Inglorious Bastards, number 512 NA and their guest driver, Mental, this weekend, 3 Hondas and 1 Porsche. Meaning that when Mental, I think, pulled this, there's nothing interesting, which is unfortunate because we usually include something that's interesting.
Well, the nice thing is that of 64 cars, only 17 of them are kind of like common stuff.
Sure.
Well, I don't know. It's probably Camaras and stuff like that because it's Louisiana. But
It's got to have something, but
Yeah.
whatever.
yeah, the BMW ratio was wonderful. Less than
Yes.
10%.
Yes.
Ding.
Ding.
From fifth host Eric Rude, the OG Rotson returns after 6 years. Lemons finally gets a Montego, and it's awesome. And maybe our first 2 Corvair race ever with some college kids with a Crossfire injection Corvette, which God bless you. And to say nothing of the VW Pirate Horizon, another solid 5.5 car effort from Spyfish. So that's where the interesting stuff is right there. A
That's
Mercury
amazing.
Montego. Nothing says race car like
Yeah.
Mercury Montego.
Well, and we are definitely into the LS Swap the World drive pickups category. So LS10 Racing. I wonder what they drive. They are hosting the Saturday potluck. So there is a discussion in the forums, including about what you can sign up for. And we'll put that link in the notes. So sign up for the potluck and be cool.
That would be great.
Absolutely.
Be
Cool
a team
people sign
player,
up for the potluck.
right? That'd be a team player. Be great. Speaking of, I'm having one of those. I probably should care about that.
Yeah,
Ta-da.
And
That's fine.
Ta-da.
Ta-da.
Okay.
Okay. Racing results.
Last week was the Lemons Texas Rattle Traps Rally. Rally Master Jeff Stobbs got us the entries. We hoped you followed along, but if not, you can still follow #Lemons Rally on the Instagram to see all the great photos from the weekend. From Eric, he said, "I predict the MR2 guys will be entertaining, and so will the Jag team." Well, of course. If you bring a Jag, you're going to be entertaining. Adding that there were lots of cars with 3 or 4 people in it, and that's always amazing. Let me tell you, if you're driving across country in a rattle trap
Jag.
rally Jag, an extra body or two to, perfume the interior as you drive.
Oh, I thought help push. But
Sure, that too, but
Or that you have to harbor in your back seat. Always have a back seat available in case your
for
team
your friends.
right, it
Exactly.
loses your car, and they have to be you have to harbor them in your back of your car.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, well. Rally Master Jeff foresaw that both Porsches will meet an untimely end. Now, actual results from Jeff. Random Acts of Stupidity went to the Jag offs in their 97 XJS. I don't think they made an XJS in 97, but anyway, one kid was grandma the whole time. Someone wore a gas mask
See, because they were stinking up the interior. I'm telling you.
the whole time. And one person who knew how to work on the car wore an orange pinstriped suit. So it definitely wasn't an
Oh.
XJS because XJS is
Okay.
a 2-seater.
Yeah,
My
okay.
Oh my gosh.
Had to be an XJ6, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not only that, but an 80s XJS probably would not have survived.
Yep.
Rally Master's choice went to the Hyundai and Confused 2001 Sonata. After way too many Lemons rallies, Kelly Ott leaned way into his Dazed and Confused theme, even made the Moon Tower.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the Moon Tower is.
You didn't see Dazed and Confused?
I saw Dazed and Confused so long ago. I don't remember the Moon Tower.
I think the Moon Tower, there was some tower with a light on it. There was where they went into the woods to drink beer and have the 70s parties.
Got
I
it.
think.
Yes.
Okay, Orc's choice went to 1972 Chrysler Imperial. 4 luxury-sized dudes hanging out in a luxury-sized car. One of them was dressed like Randy Savage and washed the car in costume. And this was Jerry Ringel's car in Inglourious Bastards.
That's fantastic.
Oh.
Third was the
Was
Volvo-
Jerry Ringle dressed like Randy Savage?
I don't know. We'll find out from Mental later. Third was
Wow.
Volvo Vaqueros in their 77 240DL. The managers of Harris Hill pulled off a 3rd place finish by staying in costume throughout the rally and letting us start at their track and giving snacks.
That's amazing.
Giving snacks always important. Second place was the low speed high drag, which is Lemon Race veterans somehow got enough points while in a giant van. Ooh. Giant van. That's a good way to go. A big, fat, juicy van.
And the winner by 500 points, largest margin I've seen, Brunch Club in their 1998 Boxster with not very many working parts, kept their top down and their waffle and bacon costumes on to dominate the rally.
That's awesome. The next Lemons Rally is the Rocky Mountain Breakdown in May, running from Casper, Wyoming through Idaho Falls. Mizzaloo, is that how you say that?
Missoula.
Missoula,
Come
thank you.
on.
And
Town I used to
Bozeman.
live in.
Did you used to live in there?
Yes.
Wow.
Missoula.
Missoula.
Sure.
Missoula.
Missoula. And Bozeman. I know where Bozeman is. Then back to Casper. I've never been to any of these towns. I drove through like Colorado at one point. I don't remember any of this place. Entry deadline is April
None of them are
27th.
in Colorado.
Oh, it's not? I thought they
They're
started in
Montana.
No. Casper, Wyoming, Idaho Falls, Idaho,
Idaho,
Missoula,
yeah.
and Bozeman, Montana.
Or
Yeah.
Montana.
You
Those
never
states
know
are
in
big, though. That's
you
the
never
thing.
know in the Midwest.
I
Kansas
went
City, not in Kansas.
Well, this
I
isn't
went
the
to-
Midwest. This is
I
the
went
West.
to
It's
Colorado
different.
once. Anyway,
These states are big. Like Montana's 600 miles the long way.
Yeah.
You know, it's 600 miles from here. Like Chicago.
Ohio, right? Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Listener feedback time.
Last week we talked about track grub. Tyler the Stankinator relayed a tale of partaking in too much, sleeping trackside in his tent, and being woken by paddock neighbors with breakfast burritos. Quote,
That's fantastic.
I don't remember what team it was. They were driving a black 2000-ish Buick LeSabre, but this is exactly what I needed in the moment. Those are the best paddock neighbors I ever had. We said it last week. Share your track grub. Always make a little more for that random dude who's next to you
Wakes
going,
up in a tent and is
Doesn't even know where he is. And you can hand him a burrito.
zip.
hey
I
man,
got
are
a
you okay?
hangover.
Yeah, I'm okay. Like some breakfast?
Right?
Yeah, I'll take some breakfast.
That def happened. Tim Burr suggested a great piece of additional equipment for a track grub, a small dorm-sized refrigerator.
Well, going back to our new car episode, Chris S. relayed his new car purchase and how it was done by process of elimination. Ended up with a Lexus UX 250 hybrid, which Mental endorsed repeatedly.
Yeah, very nice. On the Insta, Ashley and Ian shared their new to them Honda Civic, saying, glad you recommended the Honda Civic as a post-college good car. They mentioned they might be a couple years past that, but no worries. Great looking Civic, everybody.
And Adam sent us a preview of their rethemed race car, and it's pretty awesome. You'll love it. Don't share it.
Don't share. I'm not gonna share it.
Okay.
No sharing.
No sharing.
Okay.
You're gonna love it when it debuts on the track. We can see it. It's pretty awesome. But we're not able to share it. So, sorry.
I gave him suggestions for what music to play because it has some speakers in the back bumper.
Yep.
And he had a song that he was gonna play, and I said, don't forget this classic 80s jam.
Yep.
They're hungry for an award.
Yes.
And they wouldn't be hungry if they had enough Chrissy's mom's cookies around.
Oh, very nice.
So true.
But
Hi,
they
Mom.
won't. Sorry.
Nope.
Hi, Chrissy's mom.
Next race. Come to pit. You get cookies.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
we are flying without Mental. Do you know that? This is good.
Yeah.
We're gonna get Chrissy
We're
to
at main
bed at like
topic half an hour in. This is
so
great.
excited.
Exactly.
I'm so excited. I get to go to bed soon.
Oh well, Mental, we miss you.
Sure. Yes. Sure.
Absolutely.
Yes, we do.
Did
I
we
mean,
even say what he's doing? I mean, we said it in
We're working.
Spanish, but yeah, he's working.
He
He's
said it
working.
in Spanish in our
He
notes.
said it in Spanish. I know. But we didn't read
We
it,
didn't
right?
read it. No.
Skipped right over.
He said lo siento. So
Everybody's
all good.
like, oh, they fired Mental. No, we didn't.
No.
He's working.
Mentally wasn't here. He even did most of the setup on the notes because
I
he's
know.
that kind of guy.
And we
He's
did
a good
try to move
teammate.
nights, and he said no nights are good. So we just went along without him. We can obviously carry the show without him. So that's where he is. I'm
And,
sure he's
well,
having
you
a
know,
great
And
time.
the topic of trailer maintenance. Mental isn't exactly a big contributor.
Not
his area
in
of
his
expertise.
wheelhouse. No.
Yeah. I mean,
That-
he'll trade stolen trailers with you in the middle of the night. No problem.
I think he has one to trade now.
Yeah.
If you want it.
We're not bagging on Mental and saying he couldn't do maintenance. He's just not going to do maintenance.
Right. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure he could.
And you're
do
one
some.
to talk, Jeff.
I do enough.
do.
I do a little bit of maintenance. I'll say.
I do enough
Okay.
until you break down on the side of the road and wish you did those bearings.
No, I never blew a bearing.
Okay.
I had tire problems.
Which probably meant you had other problems. Because
No. Like I had like
Well,
a
it's because
fender
he had
anyway.
a janky trailer. Now he has
Janky
this
trailer.
nice new trailer.
You're
And
not
because
wrong.
it was in good condition when he bought it, he's gradually working through the condition that's left in it.
It's true. It's true.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, let's talk about this. So we're talking about trailer maintenance, trailer brakes, because that's 90% of the maintenance on a modern trailer. And this is a great topic because as many of you know, my trailer hasn't moved a race car in anger to an actual racetrack in like about a year. And then it had about a year off before that. So, you know, it's it hasn't gotten its wheels turned as much recently. So it is definitely time before I start dragging things around the United States to do some maintenance. And Chris was like, hey, Jeff, did you do this? I'm like, no. I'll get to it. So this is a great time as spring starts to spring for you to check up on your trailer. And I'm going to read some of the things I know about, and then Chris is going to tell me a lot of things that I'm going to listen to and then do. Does that sound right?
Oh, I was going to insert the word "not" in front of "do."
No. I'll do some of these. Some of these.
You'll have good intentions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, so let's talk about the once over, because that's about as deep as I get. I am since I blew so many trailer tires at one point, I always check my tires. You really need to make sure that your tires are in good shape. Those 4 trailer tires are not like car tires. They are drastically different. They have a different kind of construction, and they sit a lot. So you really need to look for dry rot. They sit in the sun. You probably have never covered them. They might sit in mud. They might sit. Yeah, you need to take care of them. Check to make sure they're dry rotted, or they're not dry rotted, excuse me. Look for dry rot. You need to look inside the tread. You know, the tread blocks on the top of the tire. You need to look between the tread blocks, because that's where the real dangerous dry rot is going to be. Look for any wear. Is there a weird pattern? Just like on your race car, if there's a weird pattern of wear on your tires, even if you're not through the tread, that could indicate a much larger problem. Right? Date code on tires, Chris. What are we talking about? Date code on tires.
Date code. It's
that matters, right?
It's the last. There's 4 numbers. It's the month, the week, in up. So it's 0 to 52, and then the last 2 digits of the year. So if yours say 12/18, that means they were made in the 12th week, so like end of March of 2018.
Yeah, but I'm saying, how many years on trailer tires are we talking?
I would be hesitant over 8. Realistically,
yeah, you would never drive a car on 8-year-old tires.
Yeah,
but you
trailer
might get
tires usually have some more like UV inhibitors built into the rubber, because they know that they have a different life than right. But still, like beyond 8, if you're not just going real local, you're asking for trouble.
Yeah. All right, lights. All right, when is the last time you plugged it in, walked around the back and checked those lights, and then walked back up front and turned on each directional signal and made sure they blinked? How about all those side lights? How about the brake lights? You need to check all of those lights and if they work.
Or if they've fallen off, or
fallen out, or got destroyed, or filled with water. All of these things are not good. Trailer lights are dirt cheap. Do you fix a trailer light, or do you go to Harbor Freight and buy a new set for $30? I don't care. Just make sure they work.
Just go for LEDs too. Don't waste time with the bulbs anymore.
Yeah. Everything. Anybody even sell them with bulbs anymore?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can get those. Are the $12 ones.
Oh no, don't buy those. Yeah, no, LEDs all the way around. It's better for the wiring and everything. Anyway, wiring. Let's talk about the wiring. Like, actually check it. All right. A lot of these, like, especially like the open deck trailers and stuff, they're just kind of like thrown under the trailer with like a couple of zip ties. Okay. If you park on dirt, if you've run over a stick, you could really easily like rip those wires out from underneath the trailer. If your trailer's rusty, you know, a little bit of rub here and there, and you could rub through these trailer wires really fast. Trailer wires are not the beefiest wires you've ever seen in your life. They're thin, they're cheap, they're not made real good. When people wire a trailer, they usually don't put a lot of effort into it.
A lot of times just Scotch locks. Like,
yeah.
Click, yeah. That's it.
Yeah. So check it out. If there is something wrong with a wire and you're like, you got to leave that day, you can patch it. If you have time, get a whole new harness. They're not that expensive. They're easy to run. Every time you're putting in a repair, you're just asking for more problems.
Yeah, the harness is saving you time in the end versus following repairs after repairs after repairs.
Because if you broke it in one spot, you're going to break it in the next spot next.
Yep.
This is one that I didn't know Chris put in the notes, and I'm glad he did, because I have never replaced the emergency brake battery in my trailer. Who knew? Okay, so Chris is going to get a little deeper in how the brakes work and everything, but they're electric. Most people, There's a little battery somewhere up near the tongue, probably, that connects to that little emergency brake thing that goes to your truck. And that battery has to have power, or else when it does fall off your truck, it's not going to brake. Brake meaning stop. So for like $20, you can get a new battery. Who doesn't have a multimeter? Get up there, stick in the multimeter, make sure it'll hold a charge, make sure it'll take a charge, replace it if you need to. It's literally 2 wires, and it's right there where you crank it. Just do it.
It's $20.
Right. It's $20. Yeah. This one I'll absolutely do because it's so low effort and so much repair, really easy. Anyway, here's one that you really need to look at is cracked welds. Anything that you've been meaning to fix, anything that's been, getting a little rusty for those of you who are in the Northeast, in the Salt Belt, like you need to kind of make sure that this thing is going to stay together physically. If you got any delaminating wood, if anything's twisting, especially in the suspension or near the suspension, you really want to make sure that those flex points are nice and solid. While you're there and you're inspecting all these things, if there's a part where the paint has come off in those welds, hit it with a little wire brush and repaint it. Keep the rust at bay because that's going to eat your trailer up.
On our old open trailer, which we bought brand new and took pretty good care of, even then the corners where the fenders mounted, like they'd get little cracks just from driving
flexing
down the road, right?
Yeah.
So welding that up every couple of years, I'd have to find one spot and weld an inch here and there just to do, but didn't take much. But
that's actually what blew all the tires on the janky trailer. Is the welds around the fender had gotten wonky and started rubbing on the tire.
That'll do it.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, you know what everybody needs? Safety chains.
Yeah.
You know how rusty safety chains get? Tremendously. Yes. This is another place where you really need to check to make sure they're still attached. There's no breaks in them. There's no cracks around the welds where they weld to the trailer. The breakaway cord, the little cable thing that, has got like a little clip on it. You clip on your truck. That's called the breakaway cord. So when you break away, it hits that little battery and turns on those brakes. Make sure that's all still in good shape. Okay. Tying a knot in the cable because it rusted through to the hook, it's not the way to go.
Tell me about the one you've got, Jeff, because so many people have one that's dragged on the ground for a while, and so it's all worn off, and it's not actually going to do anything, but you've got a cool one.
So
SEMA.
At SEMA, I was looking at it, and they gave everybody know what an old school phone cord looks like the coily cord? One of those, but it was the breakaway cord. So when I let go, it goes, snaps it right up and keeps it out of the dirt. Brilliant. So maintenance. So here's the deal. I already mentioned, giving a little wire brush and painting things, but you really need to clean and re-grease all the moving points of your hitch. Make sure the trailer attachment points are tight. If you have sway control, making sure those things are all tight. If mine are currently bolted on because I have never gotten the time to get the brush out and weld them together. So you got to make sure all of those little frame things are tight. It is not a big deal to throw some WD-40 into all of the little moving parts and on that chain, because the chain does not have paint on it. You got to keep it a little lubed up or else it's going to rust away.
I'm suggesting greasing the pivot points on the weight distribution hitch because that gets a whole lot of force on it, and it's probably just full of dirt. And so a little clean and a little grease on that, freshen it up. It'll work a little smoother. It won't bind when it turns. It'll work nicer.
Definitely depending on what kind you have, this could be a tremendously, like yours have kind of that. You have the hollow tube ones.
I have the bent bars. Yeah.
The bent bars. Yeah. And I think they're their swivel point, I'm trying to come up with the term of it, the where it attaches, their swivel point is a little bit more precise than mine.
Just
Yeah, but
watch
yours
where
still
you
has. Go ahead.
watch where you house your bent arms, because we have the grease arm part of the arm was sticking out. Chris ruined his favorite jacket because he rubbed up against it. So make sure that grease said grease that you have on it is put
That's
in a
partially
place.
why I'm suggesting cleaning it, because it's not just the grease that did it. It's because
Sure,
the grease
it's
wearing with all the metal,
Mhm.
like Nipper creates this like graphite paste. That's terrible.
Yep.
Yeah, like my pivot point comes apart into two different pieces.
Yeah, it's still good to grease it though.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
no,
smooth,
absolutely.
smooth.
Yeah. But like mine doesn't hold grit because it kind of comes apart.
Cool.
Lives in two different places. But absolutely, you need to hit it with because there's no paint there. You need to make sure that the rust monster's not coming and that you're keeping it a little lubed up.
Everything works a little better with lube.
Correct.
All right. Now we're going to talk about cleaning and repacking bearings. So wheel bearings,
things Jeff never has done.
Yep. I'm sure you've done this at some point.
I have.
Just wasn't, you weren't happy about it. Right. So wheel bearings are the things that hold up the wheels from the spindle. The spindle is what's attached to the axle. The bearing is what rolls around the spindle and carries the whole trailer or the car, whatever it is. And so usually it's a bunch of little roller bearings in a cage. So imagine a bunch of logs all held together in a circle, and they all spin in the cage, but they need some grease in order to work properly, especially when they get hot and they have a lot of weight on them. And trailer bearings get so much work because, when you take that nice tight turn with your double axle trailer, you're basically dragging the tires sideways across the pavement, and all that force going right into those bearings. So they get a lot of work. So keep them in good shape. So we're going to talk about how exactly you do this. So if you've done this before, sorry, you can tell me if any tips that you have that I'm not going to include here. But if you've never done this before, here's how. So first, you get to jack the trailer up in a safe spot. Usually I like to do it under the little pivot point between the tandem axles. That gets both of them up. Then get some jack stands to hold it up nice and safely, because you don't want to be under that when it falls down. And take your wheels off, just normal lug nuts, get those out of the way, which is good. And take note, when they're off is a great time to do what Jeff was saying and looking for dry rot. When they're off the trailer, you can see it much better, and you can see like the inside sidewalls and things like that. Check those. And also, when you put them back on, it's a great idea to rotate them, just like your normal car tires. Putting them in different spots helps them wear evenly. All right, so you've got your wheels off. Now you got to get your drums off to get to the brakes and the bearings. So first, remove the dust cap. Usually, you just kind of hit it with a hammer gently around the sides to knock that dust cap off. Maybe a screwdriver to pry it off. Put that to the side. You're going to need a lot of here's the tools you're going to need: a lot of paper towels, some gloves, some grease, a big pair of pliers, and a cotter pin tool of some kind, whether it's some diagonal cutters or an actual cotter pin tool. Any of those work.
Don't forget your squirrel and a beer.
A beer is definitely necessary, and the squirrel can watch you. Yep,
Okay.
it's great.
I think you need a loved one with a bag of chips to watch you do it.
I
That's
love
helpful.
that.
They don't have to be a loved one. They could be an acquaintance too. But yeah, something with the bag of chips is totally important.
And
Yep.
they have to have a beer too. Just make it sure.
Yep.
These
Yep.
are important.
All right. So
They have to go get the thing that you forgot and or more paper towels.
that's
also.
true. You're going to need more paper towels. All right. So first off, you get the cotter pin that's going to be bent up. That's holding the nut in place. Bend that straight, pull the cotter pin out. I usually put it in a little dust cup because it's a convenient spot to put all the greasy things. Then there's a little cap over the nut that holds it all together, that holds the cotter pin in place. That slides right off. Put that in the cap. After that, take off the big nut on the end of the spindle that holds the bearing and race on. It's going to be a big greasy nut. It will not be tight. If it's tight, you have a problem. Don't just put it back together that way. Something is wrong. It should be easy enough to remove. So pull that nut off, throw that in the cup. Behind the nut is what's called a bearing race, which is basically just a washer that goes between the nut and the bearing. Behind that is the outer tapered bearing. What I usually do at this point is try to pull the whole drum back toward the spindle just a little bit toward you, because that kind of loosens the bearing in the hub. So pull it. If you can't pull it off, that means your brakes are too tight or they're worn and they've worn a groove in the drum. So you're going to have to loosen the brakes. We'll talk about brakes later, about how to do that. But loosen the brakes, pull this off, and now you should be able to get the bearing and race off of the spindle. But do it this gently, because if you pull too hard in the drum, it's just going to pull it off completely. You're going to knock the greasy bearing onto your shirt and then into the dirt. And then you have to really clean it up even better or replace it because you get sand in it. Ask me how I know these things. I used to work on boat trailers in the sand. So get that bearing off, put that on your paper towels. Now you can remove the whole drum, which is the hub and drum and where the bearing sits, everything right there. Take a look. So once that's off, take a look in it. Is it look okay? Is the wear surface of the drum brake really scored or anything? Do you have any broken lug nuts, anything like that, or studs to worry about? See, just make sure it looks okay. All right, clean it up, brake clean and paper towels. Spray it all nice and clean. And while you have it off, spray the trailer brake too, because it's going to need time to dry after you spray it. So now you got this dirty bearing in your hand, and you need to put fresh grease in the bearing. There's two ways to do this. First, we'll go through the old-fashioned way, which is you kind of wipe it all off the best you can with your paper towels. Then you take a good solid 2 fingers worth of grease out of your bucket, and you put it in the palm of one hand. You put in your left hand, let's say. Then you take your bearing in your right hand, and you push the bearing repeatedly into the palm of grease in your hand. And you rotate the bearing around as you're doing this. So if you do it on the big side where it has a gap between the cage and the center, you can really push some grease in through there.
Yeah, you're squishing the grease into the slots.
Yeah, you're giving it nowhere else to go. You're jamming it in the slots.
You got a pile of grease in your hand, and you're like, squish, turn, squish, turn, squish, turn, squish, turn.
Repeat, and you're doing this a lot. And if you do it enough, eventually you'll start to see the old crappy grease pushing out the other side of the bearing. And when you get nice fresh grease through it, that means you've completely replaced the grease, which is great. But at the very least, you want to make sure there's fresh grease packed in there and that it's all full of good, nice new grease. That's it. And then clean it off a little bit, but not perfectly clean. You want extra around it, and that's done. The other way is what's called a bearing packer, which looks like, you ever seen one of those things made on, as seen on TV, how to make a hamburger? You put the bun in, the burger in, and you put the topper on it, right? It kind of looks like one of those things.
I think we got one of them for Christmas.
We did, but I actually have a bearing packer in the garage.
Okay.
Except this has like a cone in the center. So what happens in this is
it's like 2 cones.
You put grease in the center of it. I think it's the center. It's in the outside, whatever. You put grease on one side. It's obvious when you do it. And then you put the bearing in it and you push down between the 2 pieces, and it will then force the grease through the bearing because there's nowhere else to go. And it'll push the old grease out, fill it up with new grease, and then you will have a nice re-greased bearing ready to go. So then your bearing packer will have an area of all crappy grease and an area of nice grease, and that's it. It's super easy. I would highly recommend you get one if you ever do trailer maintenance because it makes it that much easier. And use a good quality grease too. Don't just get the $1.99 tub axle grease. Get something a little better, some kind of nice, high temp synthetic grease. For the cost difference, you don't want to have any reason for those bearings to fail with your crappy grease.
Yeah, I've never owned the packer thingy, but they seem fantastic. I've always just kind of squished it with my hands, and because I have a grease gun, but like the Tubbo grease, I think you can get better grease when you got the Tubbo grease.
I mean, it works well for both of them. You can get either one. So, and I've got a example of the bearing packer here to share on our screen. So you can
another
see what it
visual.
looks like. Yep, it's a visual. And we can put this in our show notes too. This is mine says, hey, last purchase, March 13th, 2020. This is a Lyle 34550 handy packer, bearing packer. So you put the grease in the bottom, you put the bearing here, you push down, the grease squishes up out of the bottom through the bearing, and there you go. It's a nice visual of doing that. can
Or
see
it's
how
like
it
a,
works.
it's like a, it looks like one of those
Like an onion
choppers.
chopper.
Onion
Slap chop.
choppers. Slap chop. That's what it looks like.
It's like a
Not
slap
lamb,
chop.
not lamb chop, slap chop. Yes.
No. So, and they even have a little video.
Oh,
that
it totally
shows
looks
it
like a
in
slap
action.
chop. Now, if you
Yeah,
said
but you
something
see,
like
you
that,
push
we would have said I
you
know.
fill the bottom with grease, you push down in the middle, and it just
Take the little
fills your whole bearing
Pop off.
up with grease. Yeah, it's really handy.
What's he
It-
pouring in there?
He's using a grease gun to fill the bottom part.
Oh,
of it.
okay. It looked like a
Yeah. So once the bottom part's full of grease, you put the bearing in, put the lid, the other handle on,
push
push down,
down.
and you can see the whole bearing just
like
fill
squishes.
right up with grease.
Oh, how much
if
is
it was-
this device?
It's like $30.
And
This
it's-
is way superior than what I've seen as a.
and it seems
fruit
much
bearing
cleaner
packer.
too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
add to
That's why.
cart. Add to cart.
Well,
but you already
we are-
have one.
we already
No,
own
no,
this thing.
I meant everybody that's listening to the show. I'm not adding one to
Oh,
the
even better.
cart.
It's $18.23.
So,
Goodness.
so
That's what it is.
this is the janky piece of crap that I've used that my grandfather owned, and see how it only can be packed with a grease gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like this kind. Use your kind. Yeah, this
And
is
mine's-
when.
my kind's less expensive even too.
Yeah. When you said bearing packer, I was like, just use your hand. I like yours. Don't use this
Yep.
one.
Yep. Okay. Great. All right. So now you've got a nice, clean, packed bearing. You wiped off the bearing mating surfaces on your drum. Great. So now you put your drum back over the brakes after you have done the brake maintenance, which we'll talk about later. Put the drum back over the brakes. Install your bearing over the spindle. Put your bearing race over the spindle, and the bearing race is going to have a little tab that fits in the right spot on the spindle. Put your nut back on, and you want to get it good and snug and turn the wheel a few times. Make sure it's snug, and once it's snug, back it off just a little bit, like a 16th of a turn, an eighth of a turn, as basically as little as you need in order to get the cotter pin to fit through the holes in the spindle and in the little cap where it holds the cotter pin. So, and the reason you do this is that once things get hot there, they expand. And when they expand, that whole thing is going to get tighter. And if you make it too tight to start with, it doesn't have room to expand. Then it's going to get extra hot and seize up and be bad.
Yeah, I always have the spin the wheel thing. You know, you tighten a little, spin the wheel, tighten a little, spin the wheel, tighten.
Yeah, 'cause that makes
feel
sure
it dragging?
it sets all the way.
Go, back off a little. You know, if you
Yep.
feel it dragging, pull it back a little.
Yep. Just get it snug, back off a little till the cotter pin goes through. It'll probably be just about right. So cotter pin's through, bend up at least one of the legs of the cotter pin so it doesn't fall out. And actually you obviously put the cotter pin in vertically so gravity's holding in place, but put a pin and one of the legs up. Put your dust cap back on. That's it. You have now cleaned and repacked your wheel bearings. Yay. That
Now,
wasn't that hard.
I've done this on the old janky trailer that Mental traded for the meth guy for the new
moon
the
trailer.
the moon trailer. Yeah. So I've not done it on my current one. So it's probably
Yep.
time.
Probably. Okay. All right, everyone, deep breath, because now we're going to talk about trailer brakes.
That was a lot,
I
but
know.
so important because it just sucks if this stuff goes bad when you're on the side of the road and you're in a highway and you're traveling home from New Hampshire.
Yeah, or
And
traveling
it's
to New Hampshire.
midnight. Oh, sure. No, but I'm thinking it's
And then your wheel falls off and
Yep.
it creates all kinds of sparks. And then the
And the
state
police
police
pull
pull
over.
you over. And like, what the hell are you doing?
And then you just ratchet strap the one axle up because you're only 2 miles from the track.
I forgot about this. I was thinking of a hypothetical.
No, we're not talking hypotheticals.
I forgot about this. I'm
Yep.
sorry to open a wound.
Didn't the cop complain because of the axle strapped up? Or did
No,
the
I
cop
think he
pull them over
complained.
when they are throwing sparks?
Oh, I think they were stopping to pick up their wheel that was on the side of the road and jacking their axle strap up. That the cops just wants to see what's going on because, police are interested in that kind of thing in rural New Hampshire at night. Okay.
Well, luckily, they're not the kind of people who might have, stopped at the New Hampshire liquor store and weed store and like loaded up on
No, not at all.
fun.
Nope. All right. Trailer brakes. we're going to talk about mostly electrically actuated drum brakes because that's what's on most of our race car trailers. Some trailers have disc brakes. They're usually
I had no
boats.
idea there were
Yep.
trailers with disc brakes.
Yep, because a stainless steel disc brake on imagine a boat trailer that's in salt water, less stuff to rust, and you can actually
Yeah, I
clean it
guess.
with water
Yeah.
really easily. There are surge brakes, which is like if you rent from U-Haul, this is what you get. This is an actual like a little master cylinder on the tongue, and when the trailer pushes into the truck, it actually squeezes a
Squishes
master
the
cylinder
tongue, yeah.
and pushes hydraulic fluid to the brakes. There's also electric over hydraulic
That
brakes.
seems really weird.
The surge brakes.
The surge brakes.
It's such a simple thing. Like if it's bled and working, like you don't need any special equipment. So you can see why it works for a U-Haul because they're on all kinds of people's cars that have no brake controllers.
yeah.
As the car brakes, it squishes a sliding point between the two, and that makes it work. And a lot of boat trailers are surged too because again, you can't have the electric stuff going into the water like that. Electric brakes.
All right.
So-
Yeah. All right. Exciting.
Other boat trailers have electric over hydraulic. So the electric actuating from your truck pushes on a servo that pushes on a master cylinder that actuates the hydraulic brakes. That's electric over hydraulic.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we're not going to talk really about any of these. We're sticking to electrically actuated from your truck drum brakes that are on 95% of the braking systems on trailers. Anyone listening to this are going to use it as not a boat.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is when they say brake controller that's in your
Mhm.
truck. This is 99% of the time, again, what they're operating.
Yep. And the brake controller is sending voltage to the brakes. And the amount of voltage changes how much it brakes. And I'll tell you exactly how. So these are drum brakes, which means it's a enclosed donut. And inside are kind of half moons with braking material on the outside.
For those of you not listening or only listening to the audio podcast, Chris is making these shapes with his hands.
Absolutely.
And it's mind-numbing how accurate it actually is.
Yeah.
Because that is exactly what drum brake shoes look like.
Yep. And so when you like in a car and drum brake, you step on it, it pushes hydraulic cylinders through to a wheel cylinder, which pushes the shoes apart at the top. And that's what pushes them against the outer donut. And that's what makes it stop. That's not how electric brakes work. Electric brakes, the principle is the same, but instead of having the little hydraulic wheel cylinder that pushes them out, it has a long lever arm. And at the bottom of that is an electromagnet. And when you send a current from your truck through the brake controller to the brakes, it energizes that electromagnet. And that drags on the inside of the drum. And as it drags on the inside of the drum, it pulls on the lever. As it pulls on the lever, it expands the half moons into the drum.
Yeah. We should mention, for those of you who don't know, the donut that Chris is talking about is a giant piece of like domed, like the heaviest metal you've ever seen in your life. These are big, heavy, I don't know what to call them. They're like pots.
Like they're cast iron.
Yeah, cast iron bowls. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, a bowl.
Yep. And that's what goes over your brakes. That's also your hub. That's where your lug nut studs stick out of. That's also what holds the bearing mating surfaces. This is what you just took on and off to do the wheel bearings.
If you poke through your spokes of your wheel, you're going to hit a giant piece of metal. That's the drum.
Yep. So the electromagnet, the amount of voltage that you give it determines how much it's going to magnetize, which determines how hard it's going to be pulled, which determines how hard it pulls on that lever, which determines how much it's going to push the shoes out against the bowl. Got it? Okay. Chrissy, do you understand that one now? Okay, good.
She's
Just
shaking
saying
her head
I'll
like,
go do this.
Yes.
No,
Right.
no.
I'm going to be like, good. I told you
Sure.
I'm going to eat the chips and I'm going to give you the beer.
Okay, that's
By
good.
the way, every time there's drum brakes to work in the race team, who does it?
You.
Me.
Yeah.
Because I'm the old idiot.
until you snap your finger in the screw in the
the
spring and then
Spring and cut,
then I
have to
ta-
go
and
to
then
get
I-
stitches.
and then you
Hospitals
don't get
are closed.
and then you don't
Yeah.
get the stitches. So sure.
Harden up,
sure.
you pussy.
That's exactly what I told him.
Whatever. Hard.
Whatever.
That's what she said.
Whatever.
All right. So the next things here is what else are you gonna check? You have the drum off, you've cleaned it with brake cleaner, you're looking at it. What do you want to look at? Well, you're looking at the friction material on the outer part of the half moons. Is there some there? And by some, I don't mean like a tiny little bit. No, like at least I'm gonna say a eighth to a 16th of an inch is what's usually on there. Say, Jeff.
Yeah.
About that. And it's pretty much the same all the way around on both sides.
That's really important, because if you see like one shoe is way deeper than the other shoe worn out, you got a problem going
Something's
on
wrong.
somewhere. Yeah, something's wrong.
I'd like to look at more than one at the same time to make sure they have all the same parts. Because if you find there's a spring on one that's not on the other one, well, something probably fell off. And always leave one together while you work on the other one.
That is a great idea.
So you know what it's supposed to look like.
This is the top tips of the whole project.
Yeah. Yep.
So much.
You really shouldn't have to do much of trailer brakes most of the time. The only thing you're really going to have to do is clean them up and look for anything worn. And the thing is, that can wear. We already talked about shoes that can wear, but those electromagnets, they can wear out. They get over time, they get ground down. And when they do, they actually become less effective. So then they won't break as hard. So occasionally you would need to replace those. Look for the wires that go to electromagnets. They're not broken, because sometimes they get caught on something or rub on something and they break. And you know what? Now the brake doesn't work. So check those, and check those drums to make sure that they're not worn in too far, because then the shoes have to expand much further to get to the wear surface on the drums, and then the brake won't work as effectively.
Yeah, just like your disc brakes, you're going to look for a ridge, and that's going to tell you how deep they have worn into the metal.
Yep.
Nobody turns drums anymore. Don't even ask. Just go get new ones.
They're so cheap. Just go to E-Trailer and get new ones. Yeah.
Or if you need to do it like locally and get it there immediately, the ag place.
Most auto parts stores, Harbor Freight, Tractor Supply.
Tractor Supply. That's the one I was talking
There
about. Tractor Supply has everything you need.
There's realistically only like a few standard sizes of brakes, and it's based on the lugs of the trailer. So like if you
size A or size B,
right? If you have a typical 5-lug, 3,500 pound axle like on a car trailer, they're going to have it no matter what. All right. The other thing to look at is at the bottom, there's going to be a spring and a little threaded piece with a star in the middle of it. This is your brake adjuster. And this is where you need to look at it and understand how it works so that you can adjust it later. Because on the back side, the backing plate of the brake, down by the star adjuster, there's going to be a little oval hole that might have a rubber plug in it.
Looks exactly like your USB-C. A little bigger.
But bigger. Yep. So this is when this is a tool you'll need, is a brake spoon, which is a curved piece of metal. So while this is apart, put the brake spoon in the hole in the back and figure out which motion you need to do to expand the adjuster at the bottom, and what motion you need to do to contract the thing at the bottom. Because you're spinning this little star, which is basically turning a threaded sleeve, which is expanding the bits at the bottom to push the drums further away from each other.
I've never seen a pair of drums that you weren't trying to spin the back of the star up to go out.
Yes, that's what I usually do.
Now,
I figure you put the spoon in kind of down and push
down
down
and then
on the
pull
handle.
Up. Yeah.
And push down on the handle, which
flick
lifts
the star points
up,
up,
which that usually expands it. So, but it's great to check yours while it's apart and understand how it works before.
Because a lot of them can be put in backwards.
Yep.
If it's done correctly, up goes out.
Yep.
But if you
someone may
flip
have
that
worked on your
little part,
trailer before.
Yep.
Or put because they took all of them apart and didn't know which one went where and just put it in.
That never happens. What are you talking about?
I know. All right. So now it's all clean. Everything looks good. Great. No problem. You clean up your bearing. You put that back on. You put the drum back on. Hubs back on. Okay. Now you have to adjust your brakes. So with the trailer in the air, you spin the wheel a bit, see how it feels. Now you're going to start clicking up on that star with your brake spoon. And you're going to do it until the wheel won't move anymore. That means you have expanded the shoes enough to be contacting the drum, the drum itself, the bowl. And that means they're touching. That's good. So now you'll go the other way. just a couple clicks, just until the wheel will move and you can feel a slight drag on the brakes.
Yeah.
Now,
This
some
is where the
trailers,
slight drag, even though we said that earlier, is kind of the same thing again.
and some trailers are going to require a little more drag out than others. Like my current enclosed trailer that we have here requires more of a drag on the adjustment than I would expect for them to work well.
Okay.
Other ones, not so much. So you'll have to learn how your trailer works, but generally tighten it up until you can't spin the wheel, back it off like 2 clicks until you can feel a slight drag, should be just right. And then you want to check this, turn your truck on, you spin the wheel, have your assistant put their beer down, get up out of the chair, and then
Come
go
on.
right, and then go actuate
Don't.
the manual lever on your brake control.
Or step
Actuate
on the
that.
brakes.
Well, some trailer brake controllers require the truck to be moving to generate a G-force.
Oh, I didn't know
actuate it, right?
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So just hit the manual button. Does the wheel stop? Fantastic. Now it's working. Now you know, because I've done this and tried that, and guess what? The wheel just kept on turning, and that's when I've had to go dig and find a spot where the wire had rubbed through just enough. So careful.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we've
I
gone through.
actually do this every time where I leave the house. I don't lift it and hit it, but I hit that manual button and make sure that I can feel the trailer brakes stopping the truck.
Well, but that's the thing. Without lifting them, trying each wheel, you might only have.
I might only have 2 wheels.
2 wheels that work,
Absolutely, without a
or
doubt.
3.
Yeah.
Or 1. You hit it like, well, it's working. Okay. Oh, I felt the wheel lock up. Okay. Yeah, it's going.
I'm just saying, if you're out there and you're like, oh yeah, I have a manual thing on my brake controller, you should be doing that pretty much every time you leave the house.
Totally. And that's how you can check for how well you've adjusted it too. And how to set your brake controller is you want to set the brake controller so that at full lock, full power that you're sending to, it might just be just barely locking up those tires in the trailer, because it's rarely going to send full power from the truck. But
That's
if you
good.
can go full on the brake controller, turn the power up. If you turn it all the way up and you're still full and it's still not locking up a wheel, you need to tighten those brakes or there's something wrong with them.
Very good.
Okay. That was a lot.
It was. Are you
But-
tired?
No, I just need more water.
Like, sure.
Okay.
Okay. Ready to move on to spares?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. All right,
Spares.
help me on some of these things, but I got spares are so important. Kind of like us joking about the time when Jeff got stranded on the side of the road and how sad it was. I think we had to come rescue you. The one time I remember where you were on the side of the road, but we came to rescue. So if you have some of these spares, then you don't necessarily need other people to come help you rescue. An easy one is a tire. No reason not to at all. If you have an open enclosed or open trailer, make sure that you absolutely have one. The idea, if you have at least one, have 2, because if you hit something with 1 wheel, you probably hit it with 2 wheels. And so you probably now need 2 tires. So there are plenty of different ways to carry the tires, slide it under a car. You can just make sure you strap it down. Go, Jeff.
I had 1 tire.
Yes, you needed to.
I needed 2. That's why y'all had to come help me.
Yep.
Because trailer
Yep.
tires, they're right next to each other. So if you hit a pothole or something with it, you're hitting both wheels.
But,
there's no way around it.
Yep.
Or if one of them's dry rotted and you bought them all at the same time,
if you have,
they're all
then
dry
you have
rotted.
2. Well, you have 2 that are going and 2 that are probably going soon. So
if your fender rubs on one, it's probably going to rub on the other.
how do we know
Yes.
this is true?
So here's some ways to carry them too. Instead of
Please.
just like throwing it under the car or always having the bed of the truck and it's just in the way, if you have an enclosed trailer, mount it to the wall of the trailer on the inside. We have ours mounted all the way back on some E-track because we need to get some weight off the tongue. So all the way back, great. They're convenient
It's
to
also
get if I
a
needed
really
it.
great shelf when you're trying to unload things or load things. We put the keys on it. We put
Oh,
we
yeah.
put all kinds of crap there. So
a beer sits on it perfectly.
right, it's really a
really
good
nice.
spot. Yeah,
Easy
yeah.
access. On our old,
I have a little hole
yeah,
with a hatch.
Okay.
which is great until there's a car over it or
Yes.
stuff on it, and you need to get
Yes.
to
Or
it.
both. You have a car.
100%.
You have a car and
Yep.
stuff. Yes.
Yeah, I like.
Yeah, I
to
thought
put it
about
against the
like
wall instead.
filling it with something I don't want the cops to find, and then putting the wheel somewhere else. Like I've thought about that.
You're not Greg.
You're
Not
you,
that.
and you don't do
Yep.
what?
They
Okay.
also make
Actually, batteries, because I was going to build an electrical system that was a DC system, and I was thinking I could take the wheel out of there and
That's
put all
a-
the batteries there,
That's a great idea.
and have the wheels inaccessible.
Did you do that?
No,
no, no.
somebody crashed the race car, and I did.
Uh,
Never mind.
Earl of Jankerton.
Yeah.
With that,
All right. Other options. They make bolt-on kits that'll go on the A-frame of the trailer.
Mhm.
So it kind of clamps around it with U-bolts, and it'll hold it there. That's a nice, easy to access spot. That's good. Or you could just weld something to the side, weld one of those to the side of the trailer somewhere. On our old enclosed trailer, I took a spare tire winch from the back of an S10, and I bolted it up under the deck of the trailer with just enough room to access it.
Smart.
And it was a great way to keep the tire out of the way in, an accessible, but not in the way position. So something like that, I think, works wonderfully.
Then you had to carry the GM multiple, like crank handle.
Well,
thing.
my truck was a GM truck.
That's
so I
true. So
already
it wasn't
had
really a problem. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. In the event that I need it, or you could also just use a big ass screwdriver and it would come down. And
Yeah.
move
I have a Nissan. I don't have one of those. So
Yeah. So there are lots of good ways to carry spare tires. Find one and carry at least one.
all right. What else should we carry?
Sorry, I'm on mute. Spare set of bearings with a new hub/drum. One or both. If one's ruined, probably the other one is too, just like we just talked about. Anything on
And you
it?
can, yeah. I mean, it's easy. Just go to each trailer, get the size of your spindle and the part number off your drum, and just order another one. They are cheap. Keep it in the trailer.
Yeah.
It's like find a spot to keep in the trailer. Just always.
You
do
know where
this.
it can store? Inside the wheel.
The spare. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another great thing that they make is they make spindles that will bolt onto your trailer somewhere.
Oh, really?
That you can then put your drum, your bearing, your hub, all that, and your wheel all there. So you have a full wheel's worth of spare parts on
Where?
the spindle.
How does it go? Where do you put that?
Bolt it
It's-
anywhere.
It's the same size, like, okay, Chrissy, like, that the spare tire mount in the boat trailer in the front there.
Yeah.
It looks pretty much exactly like that, except instead of having lug
Ah.
nuts hold it on, it has the whole spindle to hold the bearing, the hubs, and the whole thing's right there. So if you have a problem on the road,
Ah.
great. There's your whole assembly. You take one
You take
assembly
the whole
off,
thing off.
put it on the wheel, put the janky one on the holder, and there you go. So I think that's a great way to
Wow.
keep all of it together and organize it out of the
That's
way.
smart.
Because otherwise, like,
Yeah.
you're looking like, where did that bearing go? And it's
Oh,
under
yeah.
the workbench and it's dirty and you kicked it and who knows.
Yeah.
That's a nice way to keep it.
Wow. Okay. Okay. That's
Hey, so, say they got that on e-trailer, huh?
add to cart.
They got everything.
I'm looking for it now.
Right?
Yep.
Okay, extra basic ball mount and a hitch pin with a cotter pin. I mean, all of these things can't be wrong anyway. If it doesn't help you, it might help somebody else.
We've definitely given our spare ball mounts
Yes,
to
we
someone
have.
on the side of the road.
Yes, we have. I was just thinking about that as we were reading this.
Yep. Because when
Yep.
someone else doesn't tighten their ball or you don't, and it falls out. Okay. Well, now what are you going to do? You can't tow it on your safety chains that just saved you to the side of
No.
the road.
No.
What are you going to do? Even if
And
something fails on your weight distribution hitch, like even though those things are beefy AF, something could break and you just need a spare just to keep going, limp off the road. Just one standard simple ball mount, even if the height isn't right, whatever, it doesn't matter. It gets you off the road.
Mhm.
That's what
Yeah.
matters.
And last thing you want to do is leave your trailer on the side of the
Yeah.
road so you can go get something. And of course, we don't usually trailer at a normal hour. So you have to go
Yeah.
find something that's open.
And a spare or two hitch pins. That's the pin that goes through the hitch and through the ball mount, and the cotter pin that goes with it.
Yeah.
Those are great because if that cotter pin falls out, that's like the terrible
never
worst
finding it.
reason ever. Yeah, you never know. You're never gonna find it.
No.
And now you can't go
Yeah,
anywhere
yeah.
safely without rigging some
Nope.
janky ass thing up, all for a 80-cent cotter pin. So
Yeah.
have at least two of those somewhere else in the truck. If any, keep one in the spare ball mount so you have it all together.
So every time I go to Fazio's and I'm in the old building, I buy another couple of hitch pins.
Yeah.
Here's
The hitch
why.
pins, go ahead.
Every time I go camping with the Boy Scouts, there is a stove that is missing its pin from the leg. and I say, oh, I have an extra hitch pin in my truck. And I stick it in, and then I get my pink string and I tie it to the leg and I say, I'm not giving you another one. You better not lose it next time. And then the next time we go camping,
It's gone.
it's gone. I'm like,
Yeah.
I tied a string on it.
And-
Where did it go?
And hitch pins are really thick.
I
So
mean,
it,
yeah.
like you were saying, it's I don't know, it's not easily replaceable with things. When you get a screwdriver and tie it on, like
Duct tape it.
let's not do that.
No.
No. Okay, last on here is latching pins for the hitch coupler and or a trailer ramp. Trailer ramp.
Yep.
Oh, that time that I lost the trailer ramp. Oh wait, I lost it twice. Well, we almost lost it once. We lost it twice.
Yeah, on the Scoogle. That was fun.
Oh,
Yeah, these are just it's a little pin that has a little U above it that locks it in place, or a little flip down circle, whatever works for your trailer. Keep an extra one or two, because they should be on the locking coupler on the ball. You should have one through there just to keep that from accidentally coming up. And they can be useful all kinds of other stuff, like could be on the doors that cover your trailer ramps, or put them in the locks on the back. If you don't have an actual lock on it, put a pin in it just to make sure that doesn't flip open and come undone. Things like that. They're just really handy to have around. They're super cheap.
yeah. And most of these things, some of these things don't take up a whole lot of room. So
No.
you just throw them in your junk drawer in your
Everyone has a trailer
trailer.
junk bucket.
Yeah.
These are the things that should be in it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, so this is our trailer break and maintenance episode. So if you have any thoughts on trailer breaks or some ways that you fixed it, or a funny story about how you didn't be prepared and you got something that went wrong on the highway, tell us about it. We're also going to do another trailer episode later down the road about trailer upgrades. So if you've done a cool upgrade to your trailer, whether it be an enclosed or an open trailer, send them to us too, because that's coming up in the next couple weeks. I know we've got a
Trailers
couple of
can be
potential
super
interviews
useful,
coming
right?
up. So
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Having a well-equipped trailer that's nice and reliable is really just a nice thing to have for racing. And
absolutely.
having a crappy trailer that doesn't really work, that's broken, is the easiest way to ruin your weekend. Like, how many times have we seen people on the way to the track and their trailer on the side of the road with 3 flat tires and a this and a that, and like, that's a terrible way to go.
Box truck, loading a box truck. Anyway,
We
Not
witnessed
around
that.
anymore.
No.
All right, anything else on
All right.
this, or have we
No.
totally killed this one?
I think we killed this one.
This is a lot. I
There
feel
was
like
a lot of
if- if-
information. Yeah.
we might need, I feel like a tutorial. You need to make a YouTube video next time you do one of these things, so we can walk through what you did,
Sure.
because
We can absolutely do that.
And if
because
this
it's
helps
not
you
as
out-
good when you're using your little hands. We're doing hand signals. You can't see it. Yeah. Yes.
Star.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there it is. There's our episode. Are we ready to do the last part of the show?
I think so. Take it
I-
away,
Do
Jeff.
we need to goid
so.
our loins and grab a napkin or
You're gonna
something here?
Get a little verklempt.
I'm going to get a little verklempt. For those of you who are wondering why we're maybe not as funny as we usually are, it's not just mentals.
I mean, we're pretty funny, actually.
Yeah, I think we did okay. We're struggle. We're on the struggle bus a little. We're all in the in our mind, in our feelings right now. If you haven't seen on our social media, we lost a very good friend and teammate, Aaron Lieneman. Am I saying that right? I don't even know.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah, Lieneman. Y'all know Aaron. He was the luxury mammal who is the head wrench, or he's the guy usually wrenching on the Cressida. Not that Dave doesn't fix everything also, but you may know Aaron, goofy, tubby. He's the guy with the 3-pedal mafia race suit. He's the guy that you may have donated to his fund when he was battling leukemia a couple of years ago. And we got the shocking news that he passed away just about 24 hours ago. So we are
It was Tuesday for whenever you're
Tuesday.
whenever
Yeah,
you're-
sorry,
you're,
Tuesday. We should say.
listening to this.
Yeah. So we're all fighting back the tears a little, and during this podcast, we're still getting texts from friends and neighbors who are just hearing about it or making plans to come in for the funeral. We don't know a whole lot of details right now. You all know Uncle Dave on our team who owns the Cressida. The reason we call him Uncle Dave is Aaron is his actual nephew. So like blood relative, like he's family to us, race family, but he's real live family to some of us also. And it's shocking, and we're still struggling. I don't know. I'm
Aaron
gonna
was,
turn it
was
over.
kind of a big, tough, gruff guy on the outside, but on the inside, he was such a big teddy bear who was the first one to give you a hug or his own style of words of encouragement. And yep. But he was such a great part of our team, and we're all gonna miss him absolutely. And he's just can't say enough about him. You had to know him, but if you did, what a great guy. World is not as good a place.
Right. And we're going to have a hard time racing without him.
It's going to feel weird.
It is. I mean, the Cressida doesn't always go to the races that we go to, just depending on their schedules. And, not all of our team always goes to all races, but I don't,
Aaron's been around for like 8 years now. Almost every race. So,
yeah. And, good.
I'm going to do a little screen share here. While I was doing this, I was shuffling through things and I found this picture, you two, that you posted on your Facebook. But
I literally just posted on the Facebook. Yeah,
this is, for those of you who are struggling, going which fat guy on your team was Aaron? There's a picture of him. Like I said, he was just one for the books. He's a great guy. Total snuggle bunny, loved everything, flipped you off, dropped his trowel in every picture, get out of my face, kind of guy. And just, if you ever looked at him, you might think he's not a friendly dude, but he was the just friendliest, cuddliest dude on the planet.
The two things that I keep coming back to is how knowledgeable he is about cars. We have a Slack channel. I'm not sure if you know what that is. Basically a big text channel with just about all of our team and then some. So any of our close friends, people come on there at least a couple times a week, if not every day. Hey, my kid has this car. It's this broken. It's got this problem. I've got this car. It's doing this weird thing. He's usually one of the first ones to pipe in, and he comes up with things, and he'll come back with more answers. And he just knew a lot. And he was always just really good about giving suggestions of things to try and who to call and how to do it. And if you called him and said, I don't know how to do it, he'd walk you through it. The second thing is that he just loved racing. Don't cry. He loved racing. Like, so he was always one of those that we all just said, we're all like, oh, cool, it's race weekend. That's cool. And he was just like, if he couldn't be there, he would just be beside himself, because he was one of those guys he wanted to be on track. He just wanted to be racing. For a while when he was going through leukemia and couldn't race, he was
he was so upset.
It was, he didn't even want to come to the track because he couldn't get in the race car. And to see passion like that, I don't have that.
It wasn't with us. It was, when he was a kid, he was doing scale
RC
car races with Dave. That's how he kind of got into that. He did iRacing when he could too. He
did roundy round with the ruts.
Yep. He just loved it. This was what he lived for, and it was always great to have him at the track. That passion was contagious.
It was, yeah. It's a real thing.
So, eat a Wartburger.
Yep.
Have some Jack Daniels.
Yep.
Pour one out.
Yep. Chrissy's mom's cookies. They were a couple of his favorite things. He hated Yardbird, so we don't have to have some of that for him.
Can I just give that story really quick?
Sure.
So we last week we talked about how much, what things that we cooked, and I talked about like smoking chicken and frying turkeys, and we would have these giant, fantastic, like Thanksgiving dinners, and like the third year we're doing it, I look over and he's like piling on the mashed potatoes and the stuffing and the green beans, and I'm like, dude, get some meat. And he goes, I don't eat Yardbird. I said, what? I said, I don't eat Yardbird. Any kind of bird, I don't effing eat it. I'm like, dude, I've been making chicken and turkey for like years. You're just telling me this now? Oh, I don't want to bother anybody. Dude, we have so much food we could
There's
make.
extra wart burgers in
There's
the
everything.
cooler
His
right now.
favorite
Yeah.
thing to eat is wart burgers. And like, he just didn't want to bother us to even tell us that we were making food that he didn't like.
And then I'm
That's
pretty
the
sure.
kind of guy he was.
Then eventually he did.
And
Yeah,
then-
well, no. From that moment on, we always had an alternate because we would take care of him because we would take care of anybody like that.
And then we would make fun of him because we didn't know about it. And then all of a sudden it's a quirk that everybody on our race team has some kind of quirk. And that just happened to be one of his.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Like,
Yeah. This is it's sad.
yeah, we're going to get together with a lot of people this weekend. Decent amount of the Lemons community. His uncle, Dave, races with us, but his other uncle, I don't even know his name, Jim? I'm trying to remember his name.
I know what car he's in. I don't know.
Black and gold Volvo 240.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
He is also a Lemons racer, so I'm sure we're going to see him this weekend. We know a lot of friends are coming in from out of town. The Three Pedal Mafia is coming together pretty hard. We're definitely going to be crying and drinking and crying and drinking this weekend.
And a lot of other people have reached out to us, and
That's
so thank you.
what we have to say.
Yeah.
You know who you are. Thank you.
Yeah.
We all appreciate all the comments from
In
everyone.
every form. And even if you didn't know him or you did know him and you posted on your social media or you reached out and wrote us an email or a text, or we appreciate it all.
And
Yeah,
at the next couple of races, I'm going to print up a whole bunch of fingers up for Aaron stickers. We'll have those. in our
that's
paddock, so
great. Yeah.
Yep.
you can,
He
We
loves
can even-
giving the bird, man. He wouldn't eat a bird, but man, he'd flip you off. So many we're going through
that was
our
the Aaron
pictures.
wave.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot. Most of them are.
Yeah, going through pictures, almost every single one of them is middle finger up there. So
And there was a good one recently
He's
of
saying we're
him.
number one. Yeah.
Sure. Or he was just happy, like he was like smiling.
happiest human being on the planet.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I would go there. I'm just saying he was happy. He would flip you off, but he'd be like a nice smile, like he was, happy about it.
When he was at the track, he was usually. pretty
You're not
happy.
wrong. You're not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
He was yelling, but cursing
still
people
happy
out.
to be
But he was happy as
yeah.
a clam.
Yeah.
God damn it.
We'll miss you, big guy.
Yeah.
Seriously. All right, we're all fighting back the tears here, so we're just gonna keep
Sorry
going.
about that.
Next show, hey, we're still looking for a general or special contractor in the near future who could talk about standalone garages, where we're talking about stick build or prefab, how's that, pole barn. What are the different kinds of construction techniques there? We are doing the potluck in Pittsburgh. Chrissy, do you want to pimp any of that? Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's a plan to bring something. Sign up if you can. If you don't sign up, that's not a big deal either. We just like to know who's bringing what and how many tables. It's being in the center garages. I believe 6:30, 7 o'clock. We'll make sure that everybody knows about it, but it's normally after track time. Make your food, bring it warm. If you have problems, let me know. We can usually sometimes help with a grill or an oven or something like that, but try to bring your stuff hot if it's supposed to be hot, or cold if it's supposed to be cold. And we'll see you there. So come join us. It's always a good time.
Yeah. Sorry if we bummed you out, but I do want to say thank you for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. We also hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because why am I getting emails? Because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It's totally free. Then reach out there and touch that like, subscribe, share, whatever you can do to help us out. Tell your friends to start listening to us. Even if you hated us, tell your friends that you don't like to listen to us. If you had any questions or show ideas, drop a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers. Email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. You can still text Mental 484-243-0455. Send him a text message right now. Say, dude, missed you on the show, but it was great without you. Find us on Instagram or Twitter at everyone.racers, YouTube and Facebook, Everyone Racers. Even Reddit is /E1R. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the trailer side. I don't know how to say this one.
The non-janky side up.
The less rusty side.
Less rusty side. I don't know if that's true though. Just keep the wheels down, whether the trailer wheels or not. And join us next week, everybody, and hopefully we'll be a little bit happier then. Thanks, everybody.